if we can kind of move into what the process looks like. So some people that are listening or watching might have no idea what we're actually talking about, but you start with you were kind of alluding to it with the karate chop point, and you have a phrase that you always say. And so can you kind of walk us through that?
Absolutely. So yeah, I'll show you the basic version, and then we'll go into a tapping around and have some fun with this. So generally what we do is we look at, okay, what's bothering me right now? So for instance, let's say I'm really angry at Bob. Bob did something to really piss me off. And I would say, on a scale of 0 to 10, how angry am I? Oh, it's a good 7 or 8. That was really a bonehead move on his part. And what do I feel? I feel tightness in my shoulders. So I like to get an idea of what physical sensation people have, and then a scale of 0 to 10, what we call subjective units of discomfort. Just so we get a ballpark figure of how we're feeling. So we would say, okay, then the presenting issue is anger at Bob. And we would tap generally with 2 fingers, generally with our dominant hand on the opposite side, on what we call a karate chop point. And we'd say, even though I'm really angry at Bob, I choose to love and accept myself. And then we'd repeat that 3 times. And this is just a way of setting ourselves up and saying, okay, even though I have this issue, I still choose to love myself. And it kind of creates an opening for the healing work to happen. Then we go to the eyebrow point and gently tap in there and say, all this anger at Bob. And generally we tap between 5 and 10 times, but it's pretty arbitrary. If we're saying a longer phrase, even though I'm angry at Bob for that really stupid thing he did last Saturday when he burned my computer, then we're going to be tapping for longer than 10 times. Then we'd move to the corner of the eye, all this anger at Bob. Right under the eye, all this anger at Bob. Right under the nose, anger at Bob. Right under the mouth, just above the chin, all this anger at Bob. Right here where the collarbones just about come together, there's a little U shape at the base of your throat, and you can actually make a fist and tap over that area. It's one of the benefits of tapping over, say, acupuncture, because instead of having a tiny little needle where you have to be really accurate, the percussive nature of this gets a larger area. All this anger at Bob. About 4 inches below your armpit. It's right about bra strap level. And I'm sure even any guys watching can figure out what that is. And all this anger at Bob, and then finally top of the head. So just tapping in little circles around the crown of your head. All this anger at Bob. Then we take a deep breath. And check in again and go, okay, how angry do I feel at Bob now? It may go from an 8 to a 0 like that. It may go from an 8 to a 7.75. And from my standpoint, any movement is a good thing, because I may have been an 8 for a long time, and it's like a 7.75 feels like, I can breathe a little bit more easily. And sometimes the number may not even seem to change, but we're more aware of what's going on. And we may only be tapped through a couple of points and realize, oh man, it's not even Bob that I'm mad at. It's Sally. When I was in the 3rd grade, Sally did something just like this, and I never forgave her. And what Bob just did totally reminds me of what happened in the 3rd grade. And so now I can clear up something that I've been hanging on to for decades. Something that has been limiting my behavior, has been, stopping me from achieving greater success and happiness because of some unresolved issue from the 3rd grade. And now I can start to let that go. To the point where I might even be really grateful at Bob. It's like, oh my God, Bob, you saved my life by doing that really stupid thing because you helped me clear all this stuff with Sally.
And so then do you jump from, okay, Bob's an idiot, he did this thing, to, okay, actually it's Sally who I should be tapping about? Is that you just go to the first memory you can, or when does that switch?
A lot of times if we're aware of the first time this happened, and that's a question that a lot of practitioners will ask, is when was the first time you felt this feeling? And a lot of times we're not sure. So for me, the way I like to work, I don't want to spend a lot of time going, come on, we need to know what that first exact memory is. And for some people, that's going to work great to do it that way. So it's not that there's one way that's better than another. For me, I would rather get people tapping and start exploring. And when we're tapping, it's like peeling the layers of an onion, and those things will start to come up, and we'll go back. And I was working with this guy once in his 70s. We were tapping on some event that had happened, and like every point that we got to, he goes, "Oh no, wait, it was something earlier than that. Oh my goodness, no, it was something earlier." And the onion was just flying apart.
I found a lot that I get quite emotional when I'm doing it. Like it is really a I mean, not only is it interactive, but it's like I can be like weeping
Oh
to the
yeah,
point of like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And it's a really I mean, obviously emotional freedom technique, but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of emotions that we have tried to bury.
Mm,
We've shoved them in the box, and then it's, like opening Pandora's box and all this stuff coming out. And that scares a lot of people. And they go, "Oh no, this is a bad. I was crying. It made me cry." It's like, no, it's not making you cry. And they'll say, "Oh, I feel worse now."
mm,
It's not that tapping makes you feel worse. It's that you're more aware of what's going on. So uh, if you were to if you had company coming over, and you thought, well, I really want my apartment to look really nice, so I'm going to straighten up. And on a scale of 0 to 10, it's already, maybe an 8 out of 10. It's pretty clean, but I want it to be a 10.
mm,
And while I'm straightening up, I noticed that there's dirt that I've swept under the rug. And I move the sofa a little bit and find there's dirty laundry under the sofa. You know, Pretty soon it's like, wow, in terms of cleanliness, my apartment is like a 3 out of 10. Now, would I say I shouldn't have cleaned up? Cleaning obviously makes my apartment dirtier because I went from an 8 to a 3 as soon as I started cleaning up. But that's how people do it with tapping. It's like, oh, I was feeling, no, it's like now you're aware it was already that dirty.
mm,
And there was always a chance that your company was going to trip over the lump in your rug or notice the smelly laundry under your sofa. So it's better off that you know that it's there. But yes, it can be a little distressing at that moment when we're
mm.
suddenly aware of that stuff that we bottled up for years. But
Yeah.
then we get to a place of real freedom.
Mm. So that's what that is.
Yeah,
That's what's happening
that's
to
what's
me.
happening.
Got it. Well, I would love, can we go through a round
Yes.
of tapping?
Yeah, I was
Because
just
I
going to
feel
say,
like right now we need this more than ever. And there's a lot going on. I think people are worried about their finances, people are stressed. Those are the two biggest things that I keep hearing about. So,
yeah, yeah.
um,
So we'll do a relatively general one about fear, and for each person, you can allow yourself to be aware of what that fear is. That's one of the great things about tapping is we can talk in very general ways, but each person can make it very specific. So
mm,
I'll invite folks to go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and hold it, and let it go. And just allow yourself to follow your breath through your body and be aware of where you might be feeling discomfort. It might feel like fear, it might feel like anxiety. For some people, it might feel like anger. Just be aware of whatever emotion is coming up for you. Although I believe that every uncomfortable feeling has fear underneath it at its base. So allow yourself to be aware on a scale of 0 to 10 how much fear, stress, anxiety you might be feeling. Notice what thoughts, beliefs, and memories might be going on that are contributing to that fear. What are you telling yourself as to why you should feel fear, why you need to feel fear? Just allowing yourself to be aware of what feels important and what feels relevant. And take another deep breath and open your eyes. And so, Phoebe, if you be my echo voice and just repeat back what I say, and everyone else following along, just tap where I tap and repeat back what I say.
mhm.
Even though I feel all this fear,
Even though I feel all this fear,
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I feel all this fear,
Even though I feel all this fear,
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
Even though I feel all this fear,
Even though I feel all this fear,
and part of me says,
part of me says,
I need to feel this fear.
I need to feel this fear.
Have you seen the news?
Have you seen the news?
It would be stupid not to feel fear.
It would be stupid not to feel fear.
And even though I feel all this fear,
And even though I feel all this fear,
I choose to deeply and completely
I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself,
love, honor, and accept myself,
and maybe anyone else involved
and maybe anyone else involved
who contributes to this fear.
who contributes to this fear.
All this fear,
All this fear,
all this fear that I'm feeling,
all this fear that I'm feeling,
all this fear and anxiety,
all this fear and anxiety,
and all these other uncomfortable feelings,
and all of these other uncomfortable feelings,
with all the stuff that's going on,
with all the stuff that's going on,
I'm feeling really uncomfortable.
I'm feeling really uncomfortable.
And part of me says,
And part of me says,
I should feel this way.
I should feel this way.
If I'm not feeling afraid,
If I'm not feeling afraid,
I'm just not paying attention.
I'm just not paying attention.
It would be stupid not to feel fear.
It would be stupid not to feel fear.
The only problem is,
The only problem is,
the more fear I feel,
the more fear I feel,
the more stupid I tend to get.
the more stupid I tend to get.
Because it kind of shuts down my thinking, my rational brain.
Because it kind of shuts down my rational brain.
But part of me is convinced,
But part of me is convinced,
based on old programming,
based on old programming,
that fear is the most appropriate response.
that fear is the most appropriate response.
I'm not sure how it helps.
I'm not sure how it helps.
The authorities have put out guidelines
The authorities have put out guidelines
about how to keep ourselves safe.
about how to keep ourselves safe.
Funny thing,
Funny thing,
being afraid isn't on that list.
being afraid isn't on that list.
Wash your hands,
Wash your hands,
social distance,
social distance,
feel a lot of fear and panic.
feel a lot of fear and panic.
That's not on the list,
That's not on the list,
but it's on my internal list.
but it's on my internal list.
Not because I'm bad or stupid,
Not because I'm bad or stupid,
but because I've been programmed to respond this way.
but because I've been programmed to respond this way.
I'm open to the possibility
I'm open to the possibility
that I can make even better choices
that I can make even better choices
as I allow myself to relax,
as I allow myself to relax,
allowing myself to calm down.
allowing myself to calm down.
That won't make me stupid.
That won't make me stupid.
When I cross a street,
When I cross the street,
I look both ways to keep myself safe.
I look both ways to keep myself safe.
I don't need to make myself really afraid of the cars first.
I don't need to make myself really afraid of the cars first.
All this belief that if I don't get really afraid,
All this belief that if I don't get really afraid,
I'll just walk into traffic without looking.
I'll just walk into traffic without looking.
I'll walk out in public and touch every surface,
I'll walk out in public and touch every surface,
get up real close to people
get up real close to people
without fear.
without fear.
I just won't think clearly.
I just won't think clearly.
And I love and forgive myself
And I love and forgive myself
for trying to take care of myself
for trying to take care of myself
based on old misunderstandings.
based on old misunderstandings.
I can think even more clearly without the fear.
I can think even more clearly without the fear.
I can be aware of the danger
I can be aware of the danger
and make really good choices.
and make really good choices.
That doesn't mean I'm wrong for being afraid.
That doesn't mean I'm wrong for being afraid.
I honor my feelings.
I honor my feelings.
It's pretty understandable,
It's pretty understandable,
given all the uncertainty,
given all the uncertainty,
including all the financial uncertainty.
including all the financial uncertainty.
I may be in a tough place,
I may be in a tough place,
not knowing where money's going to come from.
not knowing where money's going to come from.
And my natural response is fear.
And my natural response is fear.
I can't make more money by being afraid.
Make more money by being afraid.
And I can't tell my bill collectors,
And I can't tell my bill collectors.
okay, I don't have all the money right now,
Okay, I don't have all the money right now,
but I'm feeling a lot of fear.
but I'm feeling a lot of fear.
So doesn't that cover part of the bill?
Doesn't that cover part of the bill?
Probably not.
Probably not.
So I choose to allow myself to calm down
So I choose to allow myself to calm down
so I can think more clearly,
so I can think more clearly
because I can find a way out of this.
because I can find a way out of this.
It's still an abundant universe.
It's still an abundant universe.
There are ways for me to take care of myself.
There are ways for me to take care of myself.
I'm setting myself free to figure those out.
I'm setting myself free to figure those out.
So I'm allowing myself more peace.
Say that again.
So I'm allowing myself to feel more peace.
So I'm allowing myself to feel more peace.
It's okay to feel peace.
It's okay to feel peace.
It's safe to feel peace.
It's safe to feel peace.
I can feel peace and still make really good choices.
I can feel peace and still make really good choices.
And I can also help other people feel more peace.
And I can also help other people feel more peace.
And that would be a really good thing right now.
And that would be a really good thing right now.
So I'm doing it for others as well as myself.
So I'm doing it for others as well as myself.
That's just the kind of giver that I am.
That's just the kind of giver that I am.
And I choose to really love that about myself.
And I choose to really love that about myself.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. With your eyes closed, just go inside again and just follow your breath body and check in with wherever you might have been feeling that discomfort, any fear that you might have been feeling, and just see if that number has come down, see if you might have been able to allow yourself to relax more. And just notice what other thoughts and feelings might come up. And you may have come up with ideas of, oh, wait, I know ways that I could take good care of myself and all that good stuff.
That is awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That is, even for me, I feel a lot more peaceful just in my own, everything that's going on over here.
Yeah. And it's normal. We're programmed to do that. We're not bad or stupid for getting stressed out. It's a normal response. Unfortunately, it's not a helpful response for the most part. And so that's why tapping is such a fantastic tool for just allowing ourselves to calm down that stress response and allow ourselves to go, okay, I want to breathe more easily, particularly right now because we want our immune systems to be as robust as possible. And one of the top ways of boosting your immune system is to reduce your stress. Hello. Tapping on your face, as strange as it might look, reduces your stress, even if you're not saying anything. So for anyone who is new to tapping and says, I don't have that intuition yet, I wouldn't know what to say, don't even worry about it. You can just be tapping without saying any words, or you can say prayers, or sing lyrics to a song, whatever keeps you entertained. Sometimes I've had the thought, I don't know if the words have anything to do with it. I'm just trying to keep people entertained long enough to have them tap through whatever stress needs to be released. It's just a matter of keeping people interested with, all these words. I do believe the words are part of it, but it's, to give and take between the words and the tapping. But just the tapping on its own, without words, would be beneficial. So when you find yourself starting to feel a little bit of stress, and maybe even times when you just have a moment and you may not be particularly aware of stress, there's always what I call ambient stress. There's a little bit, because we pick stuff up and we hear things that upset us. And to just be tapping at different times and going, okay, this is, if there's nothing else I can do for myself in this moment, this is something I can do to help myself be healthier.
I appreciate that. I use this. I've never used it in public, but now, well, actually that's not a problem for me right now because self-quarantining, but so, look as stupid as you want at home by yourself. This is a perfect time.
Exactly, Phoebe. There's no excuse for people not to be tapping right now. If you're afraid of what people think of you, you're, in isolation, who cares? Just
Yep.
take this opportunity now to, let your freak flag fly and tap on yourself.
Right. And like
and
start to build that habit, right? Like incorporate that into your morning routine. It just seems like an interesting thing that you could start doing while you're brushing your teeth or something. It's like just start to build that as a daily habit.
And it's great you mentioned it with brushing teeth, because brushing your teeth and taking a shower is part of our physical hygiene.
Mm.
We do it, most of us, on a daily basis, whether we are aware of whether we need it or not. It's not a matter of, well, I'm going to wait until people around me are holding their nose and then I'll start to take a shower. I'm going to wait until I see green stuff between my teeth and then I'll brush my teeth. We just do it as regular maintenance. To me, tapping is the same thing. I believe that tapping should be done on a daily basis. Now, obviously, there are other techniques people can use. So use whatever it is that helps to manage your stress. But stress builds up just like the filth on your teeth or your body.
Mm.
And by doing this as a maintenance tool to clear that out, has so many benefits. And we're discovering more and more benefits to tapping, just even beyond reducing stress. The ways it changes gene expression,
Mm.
and all kinds of positive physical and emotional benefits. So there's just no good reason not to do it.
Right. And I feel like if you're listening to this and it resonates, or you're watching it and it resonates, why not just choose it and experiment for a week and just see what happens, right? Like, what's the word? What else are you doing?
Right.
so, so I was like,
Man, when I
take
had
the
all that time isolating, I spent a few minutes tapping. Oh, if only I could get those few minutes back. It didn't do it.
right. Just pick up. But I think this is what I have a hard time with, oftentimes with so many modalities, so many options, right? It's that analysis paralysis. What do you do in this such situation? If your tool belt is so full, which tool do you take out? Why not just try this tool and
Yeah.
stick with it? And
Yeah.
I want to give you an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit just about where people can find you. It's very easy, but where can people find you? What can they expect when they see your
Yeah.
stuff?
All over YouTube. But you can go to tapwithbrad.com. And I also create a page at tappinghelps.com. And on that page is a link to a playlist of my videos that I put together called Tapping Through a Crisis. So it has the video I did on coronavirus fears, fear and panic, financial fears, a whole bunch of, like 40, 50 videos related to issues that might be coming up for people at this time. So you'll find a link to that at Tapping Helps. That's based off a tagline that I came up with recently: life happens, tapping helps.
I love that. You had another one. There's a tap for that. I'm
There's a
like,
tap for
that's
that. Yes, those are the two sweatshirts that I recently. So I have sweatshirts that I am now wearing. One says "Life happens, tapping helps," and the other one says "There's a tap for that."
I love that. The last question I have is something that, again, I ask everybody, and we've touched on a bunch of different kind of angles and things and action items for people to do. But if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what message would you have for the entire world?
I mean, it'd pretty much simply be, okay, guys, just start doing this. even without, if I didn't have time to come up with any clever wording, I would just say, even if you just tap right here on the collarbone point, which is a key point for a lot of people. And particularly, I should have said ahead of time, make sure you've got some hand sanitizer or wash your hands before you start touching your face. Like everyone's saying, don't touch your face. You're putting me out of a job. But you can tap the collarbone or under the arm. You can tap torso points. But yeah, I would just say to folks, give yourself this chance to lower your stress right now, because it's so important physically. It's so important emotionally. People are behaving in some really unfortunate ways right now. And it's very easy for us to get mad about that. But at the same time, everyone's doing the best they can. Just people are not able to do better right now because they're freaking out. So I would say, calm down. But use more colorful language that a friend of mine uses. Calm the down.
Yep. I think that
um,
across the board, that works.
yeah,
No matter what crisis you're in, really, whatever you're listening or watching this. Yeah.
absolutely. You know, whatever's going on in your life, as you calm down, you're going to think more clearly. You have what it takes to figure it out. You have
Mm,
handled everything in your life. We had this fear, and folks could be tapping right now, this fear that I'm not going to be able to handle it. You have handled everything that has happened in your life. Maybe not as gracefully as you would have liked, but you're still here, which means somehow you handled it. So you have it within you to handle this or whatever crisis you might be in, whatever, uncomfortable situation. It may not be a
mm,
crisis. It's just kind of, you know, some kind of conundrum, and you have it within you to find the answers. But the more calm you feel, the more engaged your neocortex is, and the better you can figure it out.
mm. Yeah. Well, I am so grateful for your time today. Thank you. Thank you for being in my life, even though you didn't know it for many years. I'm really grateful just for your videos and for you taking maybe what some people listening would think is a kind of uncomfortable step to be in front of the camera. While it might not have been hard for you, but just to continue to upload those videos has really changed so many people's lives, whether you know it or not, and it certainly has mine. So I am really, really grateful to you, and I'm just honored to have you on the show. So thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you, Phoebe. I'm very blessed to get to do what I do.
Hmm.
And I'm grateful for the opportunity to share it with your audience. So thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you.